Joining us now to discuss, CNN political commentator, Democratic strategist Paul Begala, and former Republican Congressman Joe Walsh. He's also the host of the podcast White Flag. Joe, let's start with you. You just heard Trump, threatening payback. He's been doing this since, 24 hours after the arraignment, when he said, if you come after me, I'm coming after you. And then he goes after Smith. He's going after Bill Barr, who could be a potential witness. Yeah. Is this, in essence, witness intimidation, trying to intimidate the people who are involved in the case, the special counsel, the judge, and so on?
I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. Legally, Jim, I don't know. All I know is this is manna for his base. This entire indictment has fueled his, I think he's a lock for the nomination, but his base politically loves it when he does this.
But why aren't more Republicans speaking out? The rivals, they seem to be tiptoeing around going after Trump. And you know this because you ran for Congress. If you ran against somebody for your party's nomination and that person was indicted, you would pounce. And it just isn't happening.
When you asked Asa Hutchinson that question, he didn't answer you. The truth is, because if you go after Trump, you can't win. Asa Hutchinson's a good man. Will Hurd's a good man. Chris Christie, those three who are attacking Trump have zero shot at the nomination. The only lane in this party is to try to hug Trump and hope that he can't run.
Yeah. And Paul, Trump also has a few choice words for his former vice president. He posted on his Truth Social account about Mike Pence, saying he was about to be ousted as governor of Indiana until Trump picked him to be his running mate. He called Pence delusional and a bunch of other stuff. You can see it on your screen there. I won't read it all. But, Pence potentially could be one of the star witnesses in this trial. Again, isn't this witness intimidation? Doesn't the judge have to warn Trump and say, knock it off?
The lawyer in me wants to protect the First Amendment. Okay, it's the most important thing. And I hope this judge has a very, very wide strike zone. Donald Trump is running for president. Mike Pence is running against him. He should have a perfect right to criticize Pence. And this, to me, doesn't cross the line the way the veiled threat does. I'm coming after you. That's different from just saying, oh, Pence was a failed politician and I gave him I'm okay with that. But there's an old saying, Zell Miller, one of my mentors in this business, the late former Georgia governor, used to say, a hit dog will holler. And so when Trump is yelling at somebody, it's because he's afraid of him. He's never criticized Pence before because Pence is like 2%. So why is he all of a sudden afraid of Mike Pence? I think because, as now we know Trump said, he's just too honest. Pence is going to get in that trial. He's going to put his hand on a Bible. For Mike Pence, it won't be the first time. I think the only two times Trump ever touched the Bible was when he was sworn in. But Pence is going to tell the truth. And I think that's what has Trump so scared, and that's why he's attacking him on his
And Jim, that's
media.
a really important point. That tweet of his, if you come after me, I'm coming after you, that's a direct call to violence. And that's Trump saying the next 15 months, signaling to his supporters to get violent, and they will.
Keep in mind, after the search of Mar-a-Lago, a deranged man on the fringes of the far right, perhaps inspired by Mr. Trump or other figures, attacked the FBI office in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And wound up losing his life because he was trying to murder FBI agents. He was so upset about the raid on Mar-a-Lago. So but I did the math. If only 0.001% of Trump supporters, 1/1000th of a percent, that's still 74,000 people. That's a sellout in an NFL game. So he needs to be really careful about inspiring violence. And I fear that he's desirous of it, not careful about it.
Completely, as he was, again, on January 6th. We've talked. Right. He wanted that violence.
There will be
careful.
Right.
He's desirous. Paul's right. He wants this.
Yeah. And speaking of Pence, here's how he responded on CNN's State of the Union earlier today when he was asked about if he would testify in the trial. Let's listen.
I have no plans to testify, but look, we'll always comply with the law. But look, I want to tell you, I don't know what the path of this indictment will be. The president's entitled to a presumption of innocence. He's entitled to make his defense in court. There actually are profound issues around this pertaining to the First Amendment, freedom of speech, and the rest. I'm confident he and his lawyers will litigate all of those things.
Yeah, Paul, I just don't see, there's such a hesitancy there. And Mike Pence has slowly started to be more critical of the former president, his former boss. But there's such a hesitancy. And I guess, as I was saying to Joe earlier, I don't understand why these Republican rivals aren't going after Trump. He's got 3 indictments.
I think Joe's right that it's your party, and you talk to them on the radio every day on the podcast.
You've been involved in campaigns.
I think a lot of the Trump base thinks that these are unjust prosecutions, thereby attacking him for those. Sounds like you're siding with the other side, right? But there's another way. And here's free political consulting. It used to cost people a lot of money. Get off of Trump and get onto the voters. I would say, look, Trump is who he is. But I can tell you one thing he's focused on, staying out of jail. You know what I'm focused on? Keeping you on the job. I'm focused on your life. He's focused on his. So rather than litigate the charges against him, which is going to make a lot of Republicans feel like you're unfair, why not fight for the voters and say, look, the problem with Trump is he's like the Pavarotti warming up before the opera. It's just me, 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 me. And I'm going to be about you, 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 you. Your job, your health care, your kids, your future. I think there's a message there. Christie got close to it at the CNN town hall meeting. I thought he was the closest I've seen to that. But I think there is a real opportunity for somebody to talk about the voters instead of Mr. Trump.
Because, Jim, there's no anti-Trump lane in this party. If you're going to do it, you have to do what Paul just suggested. But I think it's too late. I think this guy's hold over the voters of this party is already set.
Yeah, and I was talking to Des Moines bureau chief for an Iowa paper in Cedar Rapids, and he was essentially describing it as a situation where Trump is almost like the incumbent running in this field right now, even though he's obviously not. Let me ask both of you about this. Trump's attorney is saying he can't get a free trial. Trump can't get a free trial in Washington, D.C. Let's listen to this.
We would like a diverse venue, a diverse jury.
Do you have any expectation that will be granted?
That reflects the characteristics of the American people. It's up to the judge. I think West Virginia would be an excellent venue to try this case.
Speaking of the judge,
very close to D.C. and a much more diverse.
Yeah, first Trump is making this case about the First Amendment and free speech. Now his legal team is talking about diversity. That sounds, what's the word I'm looking for? Woke?
That's a good point. You know, D.C. is famous for being reluctant to convict. It's actually a pretty good venue to be a defense attorney. I talked to a federal prosecutor who's practiced in front of this judge, who told me this judge is very tough on prosecutors, very much by the book. Look, you can get a fair trial in D.C. or in West Virginia, but he's not going to win this change of venue. He's going to have. The problem is he allegedly committed the crimes walking distance to the courthouse. You walk right from that courthouse to the Capitol building, to the White House, to the Justice Department, to all the places named in that indictment. There's no way it's going to move out of there. So again, maybe this is a political thing. Attack D.C. and maybe it'll help you with Republican voters. But it's not going to help him with this judge to tell her she's not fair when she's got a reputation for being very scrupulous and protecting defendants' rights.
No, nor the jury pool, for that matter. And Joe, I guess, and you and I have talked about this countless times, I mean, aren't all of these really just delay tactics by Donald Trump? Kick up some dirt out on the campaign trail, put out some Truth social media posts. Look what happened. The special counsel filed a motion for a protective order and so on, and now they'll have to adjudicate this to some extent. And it just kicks the can down the road a little longer. I talked to a Trump advisor recently who said, you know, the goal is to get this past all these cases past the election, and then we'll see if we win.
Which he may be able to do. That's his goal. The other goal, Jim, is every day paint himself as the biggest victim in the history of the universe, because that's his secret sauce with Republican voters. So go after the judge, it's not fair, the jurisdiction's not fair,
But Paul,
everything's not fair.
But